Have you ever wondered if you can turn a scar on the Earth into a source of life? Well, today we're diving into a really ambitious plan to do just that, to transform a post-industrial wasteland into a thriving, productive ecosystem. This is the incredible story of Arçelik, Kazakhstan, and its vision for a green future. Okay, let's just jump right in. The contrast here is pretty stark, right? On one side, you've got the reality of Arçelik today, a barren, almost alien-looking landscape. But on the other, you have this vision for its future, a vibrant forest garden just bursting with life. That entire journey, from scarred earth to a thriving ecosystem, is what we're going to explore. So, to really get this vision, we first need to understand the place itself and its history. We have to look at the industrial past that shaped this landscape in the first place. For decades, the entire identity, the whole economy of Arçelik was tied to just one thing: digging bauxite out of the ground, the rock that gives us aluminum. It was a classic Soviet single-industry town, built for a purpose that, as we now know, wasn't going to last forever. So let's get our bearings, shall we? We're starting with a wide view of the globe, and we're zeroing in on the heart of Eurasia. Our story is taking place right in the middle of the vast steppe of Kazakhstan. And as we zoom in a bit more, we land in the Kostanay region. Right there, you can see it marked on the map, is the town of Arçelik. Centrally located and historically absolutely vital for its mineral resources. And wow, this satellite view really tells the whole story, doesn't it? You see the town's neat little grid right there, and then, bordering it, are these sprawling turquoise and rust-colored scars. Those are the abandoned mines and waste heaps. The legacy of industry is literally on the town's doorstep. After the mining operations finally stopped, this is what was left behind. The sources describe it as a lunar landscape, and that is such a powerful and honestly accurate way to put it. We're talking massive, empty pits and giant piles of clay and rock. The quarries eventually filled with water, creating these sterile lakes, and the land was just left scarred. So you have to wonder, how do you even begin to fix something like this? Well, the inspiration for Arçelik comes from a truly remarkable, real-world example of environmental transformation. Let's take a look at what's actually possible. It's kind of hard to imagine now, but just over half a century ago, huge parts of South Korea looked a lot like the landscape around Arçelik. Decades of exploitation had left entire mountainsides stripped completely bare, just rocky and lifeless. And the scale of their comeback is just staggering. Through this massive national effort, the South Korean people successfully reforested, wait for it, 2.4 million hectares. To put that into perspective, that's an area larger than some entire countries. It's just incredible. This image says it all. They literally moved earth, they created terraces on these rocky slopes, and through what can only be described as a heroic effort, they brought the forests back. This little diagram here shows the step-by-step process they used, a blueprint that proves that even the most devastated landscapes can be revived. And you know what? There's a powerful example right there in Kazakhstan. The green belt around the capital, Astana, was planted on really difficult, clay-heavy soil. And just 15 years later, it's a mature, full-fledged forest. So this proves that large-scale greening projects can and absolutely do succeed in this very region. So, inspired by these amazing successes, a new vision was born for Arçelik. Now let's dig into how this inspiration is being turned into a concrete plan. And this is it, the big idea, the Arçelik Forest Garden. This whole diagram lays out the entire cycle, from these barren quarries and waste heaps to a terraced, irrigated, and ultimately a productive garden. The plan isn't to just cover up the old mines. It's to completely re-engineer the landscape to create something brand new. So the crucial question is, how does this all work? Well, first, they're going to create terraces on the waste heaps, just like they did in South Korea, to stabilize the soil. Step 2, they'll use the water that's already collected in the quarries for irrigation. It's brilliant. Third, they'll plant a diverse mix of species, including the famous Alport apple, a variety that's perfectly suited to the region. And finally, they'll build the support systems, things like local nurseries, to make the whole project self-sufficient in the long run. Now, this isn't just about planting a bunch of trees and hoping for the best. No, it's a specific, scientific approach to land use. So let's quickly break down the core principle behind this entire project. The whole method is called agroforestry, or you might hear it called forest gardening. The key idea here is to basically mimic a natural forest ecosystem. So instead of just one single crop, you create multiple layers. You've got tall trees, smaller fruit trees, shrubs, ground cover, and they all work together to support each other. And the benefits of doing it this way are huge. This kind of system builds its own soil fertility, naturally. It attracts pollinators and insects that prey on pests. The trees provide shade and they retain moisture, which makes everything more resilient to heat. And it's not just an environmental win. It creates long-term economic value through fruit, nuts, and timber, all while pulling carbon out of the air. It's a win-win-win. So what would a project like this actually mean for the people of Arkalik? Because it's about so much more than just trees. It's really about building a completely new legacy for the town. Well, the impact would be totally transformative. It would create new, permanent jobs in a town that lost its main industry. It means fresh, local food. It heals the landscape, creating a beautiful public space for everyone. And maybe most importantly, it could become a blueprint, a model for countless other post-industrial towns all around the world that are facing this exact same problem. I love this quote from the project's originator. It really captures the spirit of the whole thing. It admits that, yeah, at first glance, this might seem a little crazy, but then it champions the power of a compelling vision. Because once you see the logic, the water's there, the land is there, successful examples exist, the idea starts to feel not just possible, but almost inevitable. And that really leaves us with this final, powerful question. Can we reimagine these symbols of industrial decline not as endings, but as the fertile ground for a greener, more resilient, and much more hopeful future? The story of Arkalik suggests that the answer, with enough vision and a whole lot of effort, could very well be yes. What was once a quarry could truly become a garden.